Scam. Somebody wrote scam on our Facebook post about our sailing trips, and clearly everything that we listed that we do is stuff that we actually do. But not every trip is for every person. So today we're going to kind of respond in a little more detail to why we disagree that it is not a scam, but an amazing, awesome, transformational, super fun, unforgettable adventure.
Welcome to the What Could Go Right podcast. We are your hosts, Erik, Orton.
And I'm Emily Orton.
And here we talk about personal growth and sailing. In 2014, we moved aboard a fixer-upper sailboat and bootstrapped a year sailing with our 5 kids, and it changed our lives forever.
We tell the whole story in our memoir, our book, 7 at Sea. On this podcast, we want to help you go from fear to freedom, one adventure at a time. Okay, so we got these messages about this sailing trip, these trips that we take you on.
Comments on our Facebook.
Comments on the Facebook page as it being a scam. And I do want to get into that. That is what this episode is about, not a bait and switch. But before we dive in.
Speaking of scam.
I know you guys have mentioned or noticed that Erik got a haircut. So I don't know if you want to take off your headphones for a second, give the full look for if you're coming on YouTube.
For those of you that are watching or listening on YouTube, yeah, you'll get to see the new but temporary look, because as we speak, my hair is growing back.
It's growing right now. And thanks so much for caring so much. So many people have something to say about Erik's hair, whatever the length is or whatever the shift, however it changes. You just give a lot of love for the hair.
Thanks for noticing, guys.
Thank you.
I feel seen, heard, understood, and loved.
Okay.
And that's all we need, right?
Except from these people in the comment section. So why don't you tell about both?
Okay. Yeah. So 2 days in a row, somebody commented on one of our public Facebook posts where we talk about these trips. The first person said, scam. And the person said, I'm curious how many deposits you've taken and then people have never heard from you again. And this person legitimately thought that we were taking people's money and then not actually taking them on trips, or like we would just disappear. And I was like, that's not cool. And I said, I always try and be upbeat. And even when people are kind of snarky on comments, I try to be positive. And I was like, no, actually, we do these trips, and I try to be we try to be public facing so that people know that we are who we say we are. We have a book, we have a podcast. When I get on calls, oftentimes I'll give people my personal cell phone number so that we can keep in touch as we get closer to the trip. And so we try to be very available and not hide behind bots and stolen identities or anything like that. So that one, I felt like she was legitimately accusing me of being a scam. And then the next day it just said, scam, keep scrolling. And I was like, what? I was like, anyway. And so I was kind of still in my headspace responding to this person from the previous day. And I was like, actually, no, it's legit. We do it. I said, maybe you want to do a little due diligence and realize that we actually are here doing it. And we got into an exchange, as sometimes happens on Facebook. And she's like, no, that's not what I mean. Like you're taking people's money and then you make them work on your boat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh, like I was like enslaving them or something. And I was like, well, yeah, everybody, everybody
we all participate.
Everybody wants a different kind of trip. But yeah, on this one, everybody gets to come and you get a vacation, because there's a lot of playing. We're in the water a lot and we're just enjoying and relaxing. But there's also a chance to learn. And if, I present it as being a member of a crew, because that's what you are. When we do a trip, everyone's pitching in, everyone's helping get the boat off the dock, everyone's helping get the sails up. And when we get to our destination, setting the anchor, bringing the sails down, and then the food as well. And so anyway, everyone does participate as crew members, but there's lots of fun and vacation involved. But I don't think I'm like cracking the whip over anybody's head on these outings.
Yeah. And one of the things that I thought was so funny is that she was saying, hey, you should be having a white glove experience where everything is done for you, provided to you. And what you do is you sit,
Like a king. That's
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like a pirate king.
on deck and read a book. And there are trips like that. Those kind of trips are available and they say what they are.
Meaning the white glove trips.
Yeah, you have a chef on board, you have a captain, you maybe have a steward.
They bring you your drinks on the bow. They make your bed and tidy your room for you.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Those kind of trips are available. There are also trips available, like for example, you can go on a cruise. You can go with hundreds, maybe thousands of other people, and there will be 24/7 food on buffet. There will be movie theaters and shows and swimming pools and gyms and a hair salon and fancy dining rooms. And
so we hear.
yeah, I haven't actually been yet. If you have comments, feel free to leave them
Coach
below
us up.
because we're going to be going on our first cruise. And then you're given the itinerary. They tell you where you're going to stop, when to get off, when to get back on again. They'll leave without you. That is another kind of trip. And the kind of experience that we offer is a bespoke, custom, tailored experience. We go to these gorgeous destinations and we let you help plan where you want to go. We'll come with ideas. These are great snorkel spots. This is a good hike. There's good sailing here. But then I love the example of one of the groups that you took out and you went somewhere at the beginning of the week that they loved so much. They said, we want to go back to that same place again. We want to spend more time there.
Yeah.
Great. Let's go because you want to go.
It was this past summer. We were in Greece and we went to this island called Poros. And we're like, this place is cool. Like we pulled in the morning and we spent the whole day and we spent the night there at the dock. And then we left and we said, let's make that our last stop on the way back. Let's stop there before we head back to Athens. And anyway, just yeah. When you find a gem or everybody clicks with a certain spot or a certain activity or like, oh, that restaurant that we never got to go to, let's go back so we can eat there. Or it's so fun to just be able to be spontaneous and nimble and tailored.
Yeah, I love that. So I thought it would be good to, just talk a little bit more about the kind of experience that people are having when they come on an Awesome Factory sailing trip. And for my part, I consider it an advantage and an added value. And the people who are coming on our trips are people who are sailing curious. They're interested in learning how to sail, or maybe if there's two of them, one is more like maybe the husband or the wife or the son or the father or whoever is more interested in learning how to sail than the other one. And Erik will teach you as much or as little as you want to know about sailing. It's not a certification program. There's no pressure. There's no books. There's not going to be a test at the end, but you can try it on for size and you can go as far as you feel comfortable with or are excited about. We've had sometimes guests who have wanted to look in the engine compartment or they wanted to see where the water maker is and how does that work. And it's like, yeah, cool. Come on in here. And here's how these boards and these buttons. And that's one part of it. Another part of it is actually cooking the meals together. Of course, it's practical because everybody has to eat, but we design it as a way to create that social connection as you prepare and share meals together. And we try to make it as easy as possible. One, I do the meal planning. Two, I do the grocery shopping. So all of the ingredients are on board. And you just look through the recipe that I send and say, oh, I want to make this one. And then you have other people who will help you. And while you're cooking, if you imagine your kitchen space, you have basically a 360 view of the ocean. You're at anchor. You've been snorkeling all day. Everything is really chill. Maybe you're playing some music and you're now here with either one or more of your favorite people in the world and or some new friends that you're getting to know and you're doing this together. It kind of makes me think of hibachi. If you've ever gone to a hibachi restaurant, you cook your own meat, right?
And you pay for that?
You pay.
You pay for the opportunity to cook your own food at a restaurant?
But it's so fun because you're like, oh, this is what it would be like.
That's a scam.
Oh, that's a scam. Don't get hibachi. That's scam.
Hibachi is a scam.
But you get to like be in that sailboat kitchen. Like, this is what it would be like if we were out for a long time, or who else would I want to bring here? Or this, it actually feels like a soothing activity. I remember when we lived on the sailboat together, and we traded out. We took turns making food, and I would usually cook on the weekends, and it was relaxing. There was no rush. There was no deadline I was trying to meet. It wasn't like, oh, we have to have this by this time because after that we're gonna head out, or it's like, this is what we're doing. We're at anchor for the evening. The sun's slowly setting, and we're all just hanging out, playing cards, reading books, and in the same general area, chopping celery or whatever it might be. So anyway, for my part, I know when our family lived on a boat, that was a true connecting time. And as we've gone out on these trips with other people, it is also a true connecting time. And everybody takes a different turn, one lunch, one dinner. And all right, I think I've said enough about that, but it is what I consider one of the added benefits, that you get to have a completely immersive experience on this boat, push all the buttons, look in all the cupboards, try out the little ovens and whatever they have. It's a little playground. And I know when we were getting ready to move to New York, we were so curious about what it might be like. We just wanted to get inside of a New York City apartment.
Yeah, because if you don't have a place to live, you don't get to see inside unless you have friends there, which we didn't.
Yeah.
You don't get to see inside. And sometimes it's the same way with a boat. You don't get to see what it's like on board a boat unless you have friends, or you pay, or, to have somebody take you out, or, but to go on an experience like this where it's everything's open for you. Not like, hey, stay in your cabin, stay away from the wheel. Don't try and touch the boat. Don't steer the boat. Just sit on the bow and look pretty.
Yeah, we're not going over there. We're going here. This is our plan. And so I just related to our experience in New York City, because we were just so eager to. We would love if somebody would have let us in their apartment and let us open the drawers and see how they organized and how do you live in this space. And we love offering that for people who are interested in that kind of experience. It's not for everybody. It's for people who want that kind of experience.
I'd love to riff on that real quick, which is, it's not for everybody. So if you're, and I don't want to say any of this in a disparaging way, because we're actually doing two kinds of trips coming up early next year. We're doing lots of sailing trips, a handful, I should say. We're doing some sailing trips, and we're also going to go on two cruises. We are going to be speaking on these momentum cruises that are happening in January and February. And it's our first time. We've never been on a cruise. So we're a little bit curious to be like, what's that like? I've never been on a cruise where you have 24/7 food and there's all those things that you said earlier.
Yeah, and I was thinking about, I know what to pack. I pack like 2 swimsuits, shorts, slides, and people were like, oh, you're going to need like an evening wear. And I was like, what have we gotten ourselves into? It's a different world.
I think evening wear means that you wear your nice t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
And your
no holes.
And your nice flip-flops. That's easy. And a necklace.
I'll have to buy some nice flip-flops.
There you go.
My cruise flip-flops.
So we are going to do a cruise. We're going to be speaking on these momentum cruises, and we're excited to discover how the other half lives. And so we've never experienced it where everybody shows up at the same time and gets on the boat and then you depart at a very specific time. And there's a set itinerary, and meals are, I guess I don't want to say they're served at a specific time, but maybe they are. I don't even know.
And then you can't touch the water.
And they're definitely not going to let me steer the boat.
Maybe we can.
Maybe we'll work on that. But I'm guessing that the vast majority of passengers on a cruise ship don't get to go to the helm and push all the buttons and steer the boat and try all the bow thrusters or different things.
Or say, can we go over there? That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they're not going to reroute the boat because you think something looks cool. And so we're eager to try that kind of trip. And so what I think those trips are good for is that they're predictable. They are there are fewer variables. There's a lot less uncertainty, and there's sort of a comfort to it, I think. And if that's what you want, like I was joking with Emily, I was on the go so much the past few months, and I was just tired of being in foreign places trying to figure things out. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go get some KFC. And you know what I'm going to do the next day? I'm going to get some more KFC. I need some things that are just like the same. I needed a little stability. And then I went and got McDonald's. So sometimes you just need a little comfort, and that's okay. And if you want that kind of a vacation, let's all go on a cruise together. We're about it. If you're up for an adventure, if you're up for a little bit of uncertainty, some flexibility, something that requires a little flexibility.
Or you like calling the shots?
Yeah. Are you like calling the shots? And or you're up, something that's a little bit more spontaneous, and things might go wrong
or hands-on.
Yeah. I mean, the only big thing I can think of that's gone wrong with the cruise ship is that guy in Italy that like laid a cruise boat over on its side.
Okay.
So, stuff happens on cruise ships. It's just a lot. And I'll tell you, I've never sunk a boat on our trip. So, my record's better than that, Captain.
Well, whatever, as they say, whatever floats your boat. I think you've probably got range. You could probably do both. Sometimes maybe you want to have every detail attended to, and other times maybe you want to be the one steering the boat and raising the sails, and you really do feel like, hey, I'm exploring new territory. Very few people come to this location. What a special experience. There's nothing on this island except this island,
Except the island and us. Yeah.
They're like, nobody has seen these shells. I'm one of maybe 100 people or so who've seen this. And so, yeah, it just depends on what you're looking for, but it is not a scam. We are real people. We really take you out on sailboats, and we really go where you want to go. And we really take your diet into consideration and plan these delicious meals with an eye towards simplicity and ease of not only preparing but also consuming on a boat where you have that gorgeous breeze coming in pretty constantly.
Can I just tell a funny story about that?
Yeah.
So I was in the Bahamas recently, and I think the meal was supposed to be wrapped in it was like a chicken,
pita.
like a chicken salad wrap. And I was up at the helm, and somebody very kindly had prepared lunch and brought it up to me in a bowl. And I'm up at the helm, and I'm sitting with somebody, and we're kind of steering the boat together, but I'm trying to eat this salad. And every time I try and take a bite, like some of it just flies away. So Emily's very thoughtful, and she plans meals that are wind resistant.
You got to put it in the pita.
It's got to be in the wrap, or you got to be inside. And I was not inside. So I lost half my lunch overboard.
Good way. Good. Okay, so that's it. It's the real deal. If this sounds like it's something for you, we'd love to have you join us sometime. We're pretty booked out for the rest of this year, but you look forward into 2025. We've got some spots for you. Oh, Erik knows the deal.
I have been announcing a trip that I'm adding that's December 2nd through the 7th.
Ooh, you heard it
hot
here.
On the calendar, new trip, December 2nd through the 7th to Sea of Cortez, Mexico. It's a new trip, but other than that, we are pretty much sold out through until March. And so...
Well, you've been to the Sea of Cortez before. This is one of your favorite places. And something that is fun about this trip, which we don't do on most of the other trips, is that children under 16 would be
it's okay.
Welcome to come.
You don't have to have anyone under 16 to come, but if you want to bring kids, this is our first kid-friendly trip. We're giving it a try. We try to be very considerate. Not everybody wants to take a trip and have a vacation and have little ones around. We obviously live on a boat with all of our kids, so we're fine with it, but we just try to always put together a group that gets along well. And so we've designated this as a kid-friendly trip. If you want to bring teenagers, tweenagers, what do you call younger people that are in elementary school? Like youngsters?
Just kids.
If you want to bring youngsters, kids, they're all welcome.
And I love that you bring that up. You talked about the chemistry or the other people that you sail with. That's another thing that we do in our process. Some of these trips, like, for example, a cruise. You can just go online and buy a ticket. You go on a cruise, and whoever else did the same thing is also going to be on that trip with you. And these trips, you usually won't find out when and where things are happening unless you've had a chance to talk with Erik, and once he's had a chance to vet you and match you up with who else might be going, then you will get extended an invitation. Or if it seems like it's not a match, we definitely want to point you in the direction of a trip that you would enjoy even more.
Oh, speaking of that, did you want to talk about party boat?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So anyway, you get the idea. Our trips are a hands-on experience. We're building a little community of people who are curious about sailing. Maybe they want to learn how to sail, or they just want to have that experience where you can be nimble and decide where you go and when you go and what time you wake up and all that kind of thing. Another thing that makes it a little unique in the sailboat sailing community is that these are not party boat trips.
It's not a booze cruise.
It's not a booze cruise.
I specifically tell people in every call, I do not provide any alcohol. If somebody wants to bring a bottle of wine for dinner or have a beer at sunset and they want to bring that, that's fine. A lot of people that I talk to say, wow, what a relief. I've been sober for 5 years and I want to keep it that way. And I always like to say, I have seen a lot of bad things happen around boats because people are intoxicated, and it's not good. And I have we have a good track record. We have a perfect track record on our boat that we have never had any of those kinds of accidents. And I want to keep it that way. So that's a big part of it. I was like, look, if anyone's going to have anything, you got to be mature. You got to, act like a mature adult and drink responsibly. But it's like, there's so little of that going on these trips that if you're looking for a party scene, we will point you to the right place. And if you're looking for something that's a little just quieter, more mature, a little bit more,
it's still super fun.
I don't want to say sober because we're not sober, but we remember everything that happens on the trip.
Yeah, everybody's part of the team. Everybody's helping out. And what we've seen from the chemistry, not on every trip that people want to stay in touch for life, but it does happen a lot of times that those text threads turn into these ongoing communication of these new friendships, supporting each other, encouraging each other, checking in on each other. And it's a beautiful thing. So
last thing for me, and then you can wrap it up, is it's also fun to have people come back. I have two ladies that I first met when they came on a trip to the Sea of Cortez, Mexico, this past spring, and they had such a great time that they're both coming again on this trip to Italy that I'm leaving on next week. And they're going to be cabin mates again. Now they know each other. At first they were strangers. Now they're friends, and we're all friends. And I'm super excited to have them on board. And so, it doesn't have to be a one-off. It can be, but if you're having a good time and we all get along, it doesn't have to be a once in a lifetime. It can be a twice in a lifetime, or however many times.
Yeah, we love our repeat customers. We just get to know them even better and have even more fun. So if you're considering a trip like this, now you know what it is.
It's not a scam.
It's not a scam. And if this is for you, we'd love for you to go ahead and click the link in the show notes and have a call with Erik. And what could go right?
What could go right? Hey guys, it's Erik. Now that we have rounded the corner into fall, I do want to tell you about some exciting new trips coming up. The long-awaited announcements for our summer Mediterranean trips. I'm going to share those with you. So let me start at the top. At the moment of this recording, I'll start with the top of the year. January 27th through February 1st. Currently have one spot. It's a female spot in a shared cabin, bunk bed cabin, for the Virgin Islands, January 27th through February 1st. The next trip that we have is March 10th through the 15th, 2025, also to the Virgin Islands. Then we're going to be in the Bahamas, March 31st through April 5th. After that, we're going to jump ahead to the summertime, and we're going to be in Italy, June 7th through the 14th. We'll be in Greece, July 19th through the 26th, and we'll be in Croatia, August 2nd through the 9th. So I'm just going to repeat those real quick. January 27th through the 1st, I got one spot for a lady on our Virgin Islands trip. Then we're going to be back in the Virgin Islands in March 10th through the 15th. Again, then we'll be in the Bahamas, March 31st through April 5th. Then we're going to be in Italy in June 7th through the 14th. Greece, July 19th through the 26th. And Croatia, August 2 through 9. And as we, those are a little ways off, but not too far. Currently, they are at early bird pricing. The prices will go up as we get closer, but if you want to snag a spot early and get a better price, drop me a line, shoot me an email, hello@theawesomefactory.nyc, DM me on social, and we're going to do early bird pricing through Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, the prices will start to go up. So anyway, that's the lineup. We're super excited to visit one of our favorite spots, the Virgin Islands and the Bahamas, and then also get over to Italy, Greece, and Croatia. Hope to have you aboard. I'm also going to share with you some takeaways from people that have been sailing with us. Here's another one. Okay, Curtis.
It's already been mentioned, but I was worried about the weather, and not because I was worried about safety. I was worried about anything that might cancel this. And so for 4 or 5 days prior to our departure here, there was a tropical depression going on, and it was headed here. The forecasters had it coming here. Ultimately, it went farther west, and so it missed us. And I thought about, and I actually had the question yesterday because I was watching the horizon and there were some thunderstorms. I thought, what do we do if we were to sail into a thunderstorm? But the reality is I realized there's a whole chain of islands there, and we would have simply ducked into one of those coves and dropped anchor, and would have been fine. And so, no need for a concern, and it was great. Two words come to my mind: friendship is one, and gratitude. And the friendship is, I'm thinking about it, is a lot of times with our friends, when you're in our stage of life, we'll spend an evening together, either at home or at a restaurant, and we'll renew our friendship or strengthen our friendship, or maybe we'll go on an activity with families or whatever. This is 5 days of strengthening friendship, and when you get into that kind of length, it feels really strong, and there's just a lot of love and a lot of friendship. And the gratitude, when I think about gratitude, I think of two things: people. That kind of goes back to the friendship, I guess, so maybe I'm redundant here, but grateful for people, good people, and we've had this conversation this week as well. It seems that everywhere we go, we find good people, and it's so invigorating and so much a blessing to be able to associate with good people, and that's what we've been doing for days now, and it's really great. The other is the experience and the beauty that we've seen. I'm grateful for both of those. I've seen things this week that I've never seen before. The color of the water, I've never seen that before. Some of the experiences we've had, snorkeling inside a cave, and it wasn't a dark cave. There was sunlight coming through the top, but what a beautiful, unique experience. And for me, again, it's not just that I get a thrill out of it. I feel gratitude. It's amazing when you just think this creation that we have called planet Earth is such a blessing, and I'm so grateful. And as I experience new parts of it and new beauties that I've never seen, I am awestruck and very, very grateful. And that's what I've been feeling.